Jam crypto news and analysis here. It is July 25th, and in this video here, we will be talking about, is the alt season over? The bull market, is this over? And we're just going to go down in the charts really quick, talk a bit more about the macroeconomics, but let's just talk about the charts. So Bitcoin currently is at 117,000. It pretty much broke structure on the 4 hours. So we've had this range here for the longest time at around, like it was like a month or so. It was ranging from 116K to 123K, and now on the 4 hour it's pretty much broken it right around here, and that could mean, okay, is this over or is this a false breakout? Since with consolidative moves like this, it's been a pretty difficult market to trade, honestly. Well, with consolidated moves, there's a lot of extremes that can go both ways, and we initially had it on this first move here, but now we have something like this where it's finally peaking out on the 4 hours, so it closed below it, and now it is recovering a bit, because usually with a breakout like this, especially when there's this long consolidative move, a breakout, it's not immediately going to break out and then go to fucking zero. No, usually there's a retest of the original line, because people are like, oh, buy the dip. But basically that's what currently Bitcoin is right now. It's retesting the EMAs, see if it wants to reclaim this range. Like if it does reclaim this range, then that's bullish as fuck, and Bitcoin will do something like this, right? So it will go higher if it reclaims that range. But currently we have to see what happens. Right now we are pretty much dependent on the daily close. So the daily close, it's, as you guys can see, it kind of looks distributive, but usually when you see this top out, so this daily close here at 120K, usually when you see that, that doesn't really mean it's like super bearish. That's actually technically a breakout, but it was a tiny bit of false breakout. It wasn't like a super like peaking out of here, but basically it's in this current bit of a McDonald's trend. We'll have to see, but if it does close below this line, so it would have to close pretty clearly like at 117K or some shit, then we could see, because I was saying earlier that Bitcoin, if you also zoom out on the daily, it has this trend line, and you know how the traders love to do with these trend lines on the TikTok memes, and they're like, oh, well, once you get Bitcoin over here, then you buy the dip, and then usually it does like something like this, right? Because like if you look at Hyperliquid, for example, so Hyperliquid is an altcoin that represents some sort of a like a trader's platform. There's the trend line here, but sometimes they don't really respect it, and there's not really that much alpha, because everyone looks at Hyperliquid, right? This is an altcoin that's been going up for a pretty decent while. It's new and shiny. It's currently retesting that trend line, but is it going to reclaim it? I don't know, we'll see. Like usually when I see these trend lines, they usually reclaim it, like retest this and then something like that, right? But it's dependent on the altcoin thesis. A lot of these altcoins right now are dependent on Bitcoin, and like the daily close is like 3 hours from now. We have to see if it closes below that, but if it does, then what I would personally expect, I don't think like Bitcoin is going to do an impulsive move like super down like around here. So this is the Trump fiasco, and then it pretty much ran all the way down to 74K to retest the previous resistance. But right now, Bitcoin time-wise hasn't really consolidated as long as this. It's only like half of that. So I don't really expect a move just like that all of a sudden. But if it does close below this, then it's going to most likely be a choppy move like this. And then eventually it's going to form a base. And then we can see Bitcoin go higher, because eventually Bitcoin will go higher, but it's a question of, is it going to happen now or later? Because we also have to realize that around August, September, I think it's August, or I think it's September actually, that the Fed is planning to do rate cuts. So rate cuts are essentially when the interest rates on the treasury bills go down, and when that comes, people, they don't really want to hold the treasury bills anymore, so they're going to seek on risk assets to get more returns. So let's say you have money in like a high yield savings account. This is pretty similar to it, and that high yield savings account is variable on the interest rate you get, sometimes like 3%, 4%, 5%, and if they've lowered that rate cut, there's less reason to hold cash, because you can seek a higher return in other assets. So if there is a rate cut, and the fact is a lot of people are expecting it on September, then we could see a potential top on it just from that narrative. So we'll have to see. Time-wise, it's currently still consolidating. It's too early to say if this is going to lead to an end of a bull market or anything, or an alt season, but currently it just has to chop. For now, it's just going to be a very choppy few months in my own opinion. So Yeah. And if we look at Ethereum, so Ethereum is pretty fucking strong. 2 weeks straight of up only ever since it broke out. Like, as you guys can see with Ethereum as well, it broke out like super like this, and there's a false breakout up here. But it then consolidates back into the range. You would think that, oh, now we have to long Ethereum, and Ethereum is going to be the future blockchain technology, but then it just gets shorted to oblivion, and then it essentially false breaks out here, like it fucks you up here and then fucks you down here. So there was probably liquidity chilling above here and then liquidity chilling above there. And then once they took out all of those FOMO traders, then it could do the upwards rally. But right now, the question is Ethereum going to be the next one? I don't really know. On the 4 hour, it's like this could be a distributive top, like the inverse head and shoulders, and this eventually just does that. It's also possible that Ethereum can do this, but assuming this is bullish, because this could also just be a consolidative move higher, then it's probably going to top out around 4.1K if we were to guess right, because everyone's saying Ethereum to 10,000, but as you guys can see, Ethereum tried to push to 4.1K once, twice, thrice, 4 times, and in this brief period in like 2021, that was the only time when it actually went above 4,100. But that is such a big number, and we'll have to see. But if Ethereum does move up higher like this, then it's going to be a pretty explosive move, and it will do something like this, and then we could see a distributive top, or it's going to just pretty much chill here, or it closes here above the 4.1K, and then it's ready to go. Then we could see something. But for now, it's a bit skeptical. I don't know what is honestly the best asset currently to hold. It's a bit tough to say on what is the best one. Like for super long term, it's Bitcoin, but the altcoins, we'll have to see. And if we're going to look at the altcoin index as well, so others currently, it is pretty much having 2 red days in a row. This is a decent break of structure. It's also holding this EMA, but currently this trend, usually when there are 2 weeks of just straight up only like that. So if we're going to look at other periods in time, so look at this. Well, maybe it's going to be like this. I'm not really sure, but I am still biased that an alt season, or at least for alts to go higher as a whole, they still have room to go. We'll have to see, but yeah, it would be super bullish if it did that, right? But also, I wouldn't be surprised if it consolidated a bit and then it built a base higher. I mean, if you look at this, it's still a bullish chart overall. So there is a head and shoulders, or the inverse head and shoulders, and usually these moves end up something higher. We'll have to see though. Currently, altcoins, it's probably going to be choppy, is just my basic analysis here. And a lot of the other altcoins are actually holding up pretty well. So this is an important thing to say, is that altcoins are actually green on the day while Bitcoin is red. And, you know, that's pretty strong for the altcoins. That signals that a lot of people who wanted to sell the altcoins already did it, because we initially had the altcoin sell-off. So this altcoin sell-off happened pretty much right around Bitcoin was starting to sell off. But we'll have to see if Bitcoin is truly going to break out like this, then altcoins are going to do fucking amazing here. But if this is just the actual breakout to the lows and then it just goes lower, then altcoins are just going to get fucked. So it's just hard to say right now. That's my basic answer here. Is the bull run over? Is the altcoin market screwed? We have to see, because consolidative moves like these are having these extremes upwards and downwards, and we have to see more on if there's a strong close above it or a strong close below it. And currently, it's a bit iffy right now. We have to see the daily close. It kind of just depends on that, honestly. But if we do close above like 117,500 or some shit, then we're probably okay. And then it's going to do something like that. But that's just my interpretation of the market right now. Even if we look at the liquidation heat map, so liquidation heat map wise, there's liquidity on both sides at 123K and 114K. And usually with these, price likes to go grab that liquidity to take out the traders, right? Because other traders are seeing this and they're like, oh shit, we got to take these guys out. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin did even more fuckery. So maybe somebody is going to be like, oh, well, this is finally it. We're going to long. And then, oh shit, it's going to do that, and then it forms a base, but it doesn't necessarily go super below 112K, but it just consolidates here a bit, and then it does that, right? And it just completely fucks up the bears trying to short it. So what I'm trying to say here is that there is room for it to go lower and higher. There's equal probabilities, in my own opinion, and we just have to see what happens with the daily close. And liquidity does support that. It's probably going to end up going a little bit lower. We'll have to see, but yeah. And let's just look at the Twitter here. So just in, President Trump says we should have the lowest interest rate of any country. So again, Donald Trump, I've talked about this in the previous videos, but he wants to have the rate cuts from the Fed with Jerome Powell. And there's a lot of reasons here. So I was doing some analysis on it. But Donald Trump, we know he wants to leave a legacy in America. All of the shit like make America great again and build shit in America and be the best president ever. He's all doing this for the sake of leaving a legacy, right? Because Donald Trump, he doesn't really have as much time left on Earth. He's done a lot in his life, and he's grown up in a world for the last 80 years, 90 years. I don't know how old he is, but he wants to leave something behind, and he wants to basically be the GOAT of America. I mean, just remember what happened to meme coins and whatnot. But he's trying to leave a legacy, and Donald Trump essentially saying the lowest interest rates of any country. So this is all, we have to question his motives here. Why does he want that? So first of all, one reason is that housing. So housing right now in America is pretty bad because, I mean, a lot of it is backed by credit, and because the interest rate is so damn high, so mortgages are pretty damn expensive for the average person. But if they lower the interest rates, then the mortgages essentially go down, so people are able to afford it more. However, I don't know, we'll just have to see. It's just that more people will have access to housing if they lower the interest rates. So people are gonna be like, oh, I like this president because I can now live in a house and have my wife and kids. But another reason is that, as I said earlier, if you lower the interest rates, then people, they don't really want treasury bills anymore, so they're going to seek risk on assets for more returns. So when that happens and interest rate gets lowered, so as I said earlier in September, and that could potentially be a top because of the syncopated interest rate cut, then when that happens, that could be a top because everybody's expecting that moment, and they're like, oh, Bitcoin's going to the moon because the Fed is cutting the interest rates. It's everybody fucking knows this, but you know, if they launch a random interest rate out of fucking nowhere, people will be like, oh shit, that's time. And then they're going to bid on the assets and whatever. But essentially, when they do that and there's a nice stock market, a nice crypto market, presidents, they want that for their popularity, right? Because they want their reputation to be as good as possible for status, basically. And when that's the case, then that's a pretty good reason for them to cut the interest rates, just to have more markets. So the main reason here is that he just wants to look good as a president. Like, does he really care about America? Maybe he probably does deep down in his heart, but his number one goal here is for status, right? He wants to be the GOAT of America. He's already one of the more recognized people in the world, but he wants to leave a legacy. So we just got to keep these motives in mind for how we can interpret his actions into the future. And what I want to say here, the last thing, so this was another thing. Justin, Venmo and PayPal users can now send money to the U.S. government to help pay down 36 trillion national debt. 36 fucking trillion. Dude, that is literally 37% of the global M2, the liquidity circulating in the whole fucking world. And these guys, so Venmo and PayPal, these guys are mediums for you to send money to other people. But these guys are saying, oh, well, you can now help pay the government pay $36 trillion in national debt. You know how much fucking money that is? People can't comprehend how much money $36 trillion in national debt is. But we know that there's a national debt crisis where the Fed Reserve, they have all this fucking interest rate. They keep printing the monies like fucking crazy. They keep spending like crazy. And the way that they pay off their debt is by spending more money. But when they make more money out of thin air, they essentially are feeding this whole fucking Ponzi scheme for it to exponentially go higher, because as they spend more and more money, they're like, oh shit, I gotta print more money. Oh wait, now I gotta owe more money. And it's just a never ending spiral. And a lot of people, when they're gonna see this, they're gonna think it's a moral cause because it's all pushed on the media that, oh, well, the US national debt, this is such a big problem. Like Elon was like trying to make his Doge whole spiel to cut government spending, but we know that shit didn't fucking work. And now everybody, they're saying in the media that the U.S. national debt is such a fucking problem. Like, it's kind of similar to how people say, oh, you should recycle your plastic bottles into the recycling bin because it's bad for the fucking turtles in the ocean. Like, they're trying to say these things, and they're trying to systematically put it on an individual level. But individually, you trying to fight against that climate change, if it's real or not, then that is essentially, you're not really making that much of a drop on that whole situation, because there's motherfuckers out there, the big ass oil companies drilling all the fucking oil and putting all the oil in the fucking air, and it's just like all fucked up. And you're saying that, oh, if I recycle my plastic bottle today, I'm going to help the climate. Like, this is similar, where this guy's, they're just saying, like Venmo and PayPal, oh, you can help the trillion national debt because it is a morally good cause. And maybe it is, because a lot of Americans are super nationalistic and they want to be like, make America great again. I want my country to be back in the old times when I'm making $100,000 a year working a McDonald's job. Like, everybody, like, it's a nationalistic thing, right? They want to help the country, but just realize that this is not going to fucking help. Them making Venmo and PayPal, the U.S. government, like the U.S. people, to pay back this national debt, it's not gonna fucking help. And people are just throwing their money straight into it. Like, I think I left like a comment on this. I was basically like, this is equivalent of bringing water spray bottles to a California wildfire. Like, it's just so much fucking money here. $36 trillion. That shit's a lot of fucking money. And you know, things like these, it adds more attention to Bitcoin. And I mean, Bitcoin, like, everybody fucking knows about it, but a lot of people don't really know why it will go up into the future. But something like this, the national debt, where even Venmo and PayPal are suggesting solutions to this, are essentially highlighting a greater cause of, oh, well, maybe Bitcoin is going to be the inverse of national debt, because as the national debt increases and they have to print more money to pay it off, the higher Bitcoin goes, because the dollar gets more devalued, means that people are going to seek more hard assets. So more people are going to get red pilled to the Bitcoin as they realize that they can't fucking afford anything with their wages that have stagnated for 40 fucking years. But like, it's just this situation. I see this, and a lot of people are going to fall for this trap and send maybe like $100 to them, and be like, I'm going to help America. Don't fucking do it. It's a waste of your fucking money. It's not gonna help at all. Like, I was like, bro, like, what the fuck? But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. So where's the market going currently? Well, we'll have to see. It's pretty much equal probabilities both sides, whether it goes bearish or bullish. It's pretty probabilistic on whether Bitcoin can close daily below it. Currently, right now, we're fighting to close inside of the range instead of closing lower. If it does close lower, then yeah, we can expect lower, but we're gonna have to see. It's not gonna be like up only to 200K like a god candle straight, like all the Bitcoiners fucking want like that. It has to have more chop, right? Because Bitcoin just came out of a pretty nice rally, honestly. Like, look at this. Is this not your bull market here? And then everybody wants the fucking altcoins to do crazy shit, like Ethereum up only for 2 weeks, and then people are complaining like, oh my god, it's down. Like, I don't know. We'll have to see. Honestly, if I were to be more biased for what's going to happen into the future, I'm more bullish. So I hold spot Bitcoin, but I'm more bullish for it to go higher, because a lot of the liquidity signals are saying, oh, we should go higher. So we'll have to see. Currently, that is my current analysis. And yeah, also, I started a Substack. So it's a way for me to collect emails. So in case I ever get taken off of platforms or whatever the hell, or something fucking happens, if I get hacked or some shit, then there is a Substack, have the ability to send you guys if I'm going to make a products later down the road, because I have some ideas I want to show to other people, because I think a lot of people are not really super knowledgeable a lot of these things, and I want to help other people to realize what the fuck is going on. But I'm going to have the Substack. I'm going to have it in the link below, and you can join it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.